everybody. Welcome to Strong Female Lead. My name is Tricia.
Hey guys, I'm Tessa.
And we are the hosts of your favorite podcast
Yay.
About strong female leads in movies and television. Did Hollywood get it right? Did Hollywood, woo,
Yeah.
that came out. Did Hollywood fuck us all over? We're not sure. We think sometimes one, sometimes the other, and we're here to figure it out. And this is the beginning of season 3. Did I already say that? I don't know. I'm out of it. I blame COVID.
It's okay. It's fine. It's perfect. That is the exact vibe of 2021. Guys, we all just got here. We all just survived something. Some of us more than others. But that is the vibe of 2021. It's not a mistake.
What are my words?
It's just life. It's not a mistake. It's life. Just keep moving. That's my vibe for 2021.
Keep it moving. One foot in front of the other. So T. It's really funny to call you T. I don't know if I usually do.
It's just funny because you're also T.
I know.
People call you T?
Yes. And I realized I wanted to give you a nickname in the moment, and that's what came out, and that is what I am called by people who have known me like since childhood, as well as my brothers and, family members. So when I said it, I was like, sort of, it's like a hi to myself.
Yeah.
As well as a hi to you. And
I like it.
I want to know, what have you been up to since we wrapped up season 2? We've had a bit of a break. We gave ourselves a little vacay.
We gave ourselves just the littlest of vacays. Just kidding. It was like a month long. And which was lovely. So like work kicked up, it's end of the year stuff. Other than work stuff, I've just been like in the gym. If I can't have my life back outside of these 4 walls, I can at least go to the gym, which I've been very thankful for. So I spend a lot of time at the gym. I've actually been reading a lot, trying to like technology, just like less technology. So I've been reading a bunch, learning about stuff. Hitting the therapy kind of hard, just making sure that I've not cracked. It seems like a couple moments there in 2020, it was like, I could see the seams. I was like, are we coming apart? Maybe, possibly. Let me just check in with Diane.
A little tear.
Little tears.
But I was like, tear, you gotta sew it up.
You gotta sew it up. And just realize that like little tears, little threads in the seams is normal. We're living in a pandemic. Everything you're feeling and going through right now, as long as it's not harmful to yourself or anyone else, is normal. Accept that shit and move forward. Woosah it or whatever you got to do. Just keep going.
Woosah.
Woosah. You never heard that? It's just like a mantra people used to say. Woosah.
What's it mean?
I don't know. It means just like breathe, like breathe, keep moving.
I like it.
All those things. Other than that, working out a shit ton, working a shit ton, reading a shit ton. And I've done recently a very deep and thorough closet clean out, which has been very therapeutic. Because I was like, why do I still have clothes that I had in college? That was like 8 years ago.
Shit.
10 years ago. What am I saying? Like, I don't wear this stuff. Why am I keeping it? Stop being a hoarder, Tessa, and just like get it out of your house. But the flip side of that coin is that I've been trying to be all ethical and buy like sustainable clothing, which is very expensive. And I'm just not ever going to be used to these price points. Like I paid like 80 some odd dollars for a sweater from Everlane, like a crew neck sweater, and I was like, if this doesn't change my life and make me a better person,
or if it doesn't save the planet,
if this single-handedly doesn't save the planet, I swear to God, I will be all up in Everlane's comments just being like, you sold me a dream, how dare you. But I hope I never have to buy the sweater again. Well, not never, but if I can get like 3 to 5 years out of it, I will consider this a very good sustainable purchase. But that's the goal with like trying to like not just repurchase all the things that I'm giving or donating and giving away, but just to like buy better quality things, stop with the fast fashion. And I've been like very obsessed with outerwear. I'm just going to keep going on this like tangent. I've been like going on like a ton of walks just to get out of my house. And so now I'm just like very into COVID walks. Yeah. So now I'm just very into outerwear. And I bought like 3 long line wool coats. And I was like, this seems like counterintuitive to everything I just said about not just repurchasing everything I just gave away, but also I really want it. So help me, save me, guys. If you're also in the same, like, online shopping has become a problem. So I need to figure out how to put filters on my computer so that I can't go to like Everlane and Zara and these stores ever again. ASOS, huge problem. Huge problem.
It's a COVID problem. Online shopping is a COVID problem. I am in charge of taking out the trash in our apartment. Never have I ever had to take out the trash so much as during COVID with like ordering groceries, Amazon. I'm like, it's just an incessant chore.
Yes. I really hope Chicago is recycling. I know that, you know, it's like a wink and a nod thing. Like, you know, we're recycling, wink, wink. Right. But I really hope it's being recycled, because I am like trying to make the extra effort to be like, let me make sure I break down these boxes, and then I'm like cleaning out cans properly so that they can get properly recycled. And it would really suck if all of that was for nothing. And I've saved no planet, not a single whale or seal or plankton from the ocean.
I agree. I understand the online shopping thing. I have pulled away from it a bit, but I do understand the nature of that and have experienced, you know, a dark hole with that before. But I gotta say, cleaning out the closet or just cleaning out or decluttering any area is like self-care to me. If I spend an hour doing that, the feeling I physically, spiritually, and psychologically feel lighter every time. And it's almost as if like your stuff weighs you down. And that is the view of minimalism, you know, and it is, I'll never be a minimalist, but I do like to declutter and get rid of stuff and reorganize. And, you know, I have a couple of rules of thumb, like if it doesn't take 15 minutes to replace, or no, if you can't replace it, if you can't drive somewhere within 15 minutes, if you can drive somewhere within 15 minutes to replace it and you haven't used it in a specific period of time, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like, just get rid of it. Because I have all these like what ifs, like when this runs out, when this, and it's like, or
I'm
these
really gonna
clothes.
Want this for that. Really? Are you?
Right.
Because you don't
so
do
then
that.
All of those things need to align for you to use it. And Elsie from the hills, I can't believe I have some wisdom in my pocket from her. She had a quote at one point where she was like, if you don't feel good in it, don't keep it. And there are a lot of things that I'll have and I'm like, well, like they're okay enough and I'll keep it. But then you never wear it, and then you never wear the things that go with it. So just, if it doesn't make you feel good, don't keep it.
Yeah. I've been
You should feel good in almost every item.
Yeah. I've been trying to, I have been very cutthroat. Like right now I have like 3 pairs of jeans. Like I got rid of stuff.
Okay. I got
like all of my like dress clothes, because I'm like, there's no way we're going back to the office within the year, and none of this stuff fits anyway. So I'm just gonna let it go now, and hopefully somebody else who maybe does have to go into their office can get a good deal on some like dressier stuff that I never have to wear. Yeah, just get rid of it. I can't say that I'll ever be a minimalist, but I am just trying to be conscious. And that's as good as I can get it at this moment, because I was like, I do love things, and I do love
conscious
clothes.
Or conscientious? Because I hope that you're conscious.
Conscience.
Oh, gosh. Because I do pray for
like where it's coming from. Like, is it a good material? Am I investing in something, or am I just buying fast fashion to get a look? And I'm like, stop buying a look, because you never rewear a look. I will rewear like this Adidas like hoodie that I've had for like 4 years, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
this is slightly stained, but
Mm-hmm.
I wear it a lot, and so I'm like, I'm gonna keep it. I also have to get better at laundering things because that's another problem of mine. I'm just like, it has a stain, so I guess I should just replace it. And I was like, or you could just like learn how to do laundry properly, you adult woman. Just like get your life together a little bit.
that I cannot say that I do. I launder the fuck out of things, and I treat them with stain remover, like to the point where I'm treating things that the stains just won't come out of. So I have to force myself to be like, stop washing this. This white tee, it was $5. It's not going to be white anymore, no matter how many times you bleach it. Like it is over. It is ivory-ish with a tint of yellow under the armpits, and don't pretend like you don't see it.
Yeah.
So that you can keep it.
Oh my God. I just paid $18 for an Everlane t-shirt because supposedly it won't do that. And if it does that, I will be so angry because again, $18 for a white t-shirt is ridiculous. I will let you know.
Because that is, I love white tees. Yes. I have a uniform that I wear to work when I go there, which is black jeans that look like they could be dress pants, a white t-shirt, and like a sweater. And then I just put on flats. And it's like what I do every day. It's a uniform I decided on. But white t-shirts are just one of those things that, like, I think it's because of the material. I think it has to be a certain thickness, and it has to have an armpit, like male shirts, that isn't like right up my armpit.
In there. Who
like
designs this?
Give me a little bit of room. I sweat. Like, what the fuck?
Like a normal person. Like, it always kind of make you feel crazy for like sweating as a woman. And I was like,
I know.
Women have this almost the same bodies as men. Exactly the same in terms of sweat. Like,
I mean, men's shirts will get like crazy yellow there, and it's after a long time. Meanwhile, mine is like, you get like, you know, a month, and you're like, holy shit, like this isn't fair. Girl, I get it. Let me know about that white t-shirt, because also I think t-shirts aren't made, you know, clothes aren't made as well as they are. Like the t-shirts that I still have, I have a t-shirt from college. Women's clothes specifically. I still have a t-shirt from college that, it's worn out, but it is together. It doesn't have stains under the armpits. It was something I got at like the store, like selling university clothes, right? It was, it's like a University of Michigan t-shirt, and I love it. And it is still with me. And I'm like, I can't have any other shirts that are still with me. And then I have another one that's like from my early 20s. And I'm like, there's nothing I have bought in the past 10 years would withstand. Nothing I've bought in the past 15 years would withstand like that.
No. And so I'm like, okay, I gotta be just a better purchaser, because like I usually just get like a white t-shirt from like Target or something. It's like $10. And I was like, oh great. But when you buy 4 in a year, I've just spent $40 on white t-shirts. So I was like, let me at least try this more expensive t-shirt, and I will let you and the listeners know if these Everlane shirts are like really worth the hype. Like, I'm not like a fashion reviewer or like anything like that, but I do love a crew neck t-shirt. It is part of my uniform also. Like, I got a black one and a white one. I figure the black one will just be like super solid. Like, I'm not worried about that one at all. Like, I think I've had the same black t-shirts.
A little longer.
Yeah. I was like, I hope it holds its color, like it stays like that deep black, but
it gets lighter and then it doesn't match your other black stuff, but at least it like isn't yellow. And then so do you move your other t-shirts, like the ones that start to get a little crappy, as long as they're not stained but they're like weathered, then I move them to my sleep shirts, or like my around the house shirts, and then I transfer these clothes. They're like they're triaged.
Yes, I do the same things, but then they just stay as pajama shirts, even as they're getting like rattier and rattier. And I was like, that's some of the stuff I'm getting rid of now. And I was like, just let it go. You know, it's had a great run. You've had this shirt for like 7 years. It's okay. It's okay to let this go.
Let it go. And then also, even if I have these pajama shirts, most of the time I wear tank tops a lot. Most of the time I just wear the shirt that I wore that day, and then put on like pajama pants or not at all. So I'm like I'll either just have underwear and the tank top and go to sleep, or you know, the tank top and then put on, you know, a pair of like sweats or something, and it's like, so I don't even use them.
No. Just like I don't know how I feel about the sweatsuit trend. Have you purchased any like matching sweatsuits? It's very on trend right now, and I'm just like, I don't think that I will wear it, but it does look super comfy. And so I'm torn on whether or not to get one. Because I do just like wear my pajamas. Like if I'm gonna like be in my house all the time, I'm either wearing like athletic stuff to go to the gym, or I'm just like straight up in pajamas. Like why is there
leisure is just what you can wear like all the time. I'm not into a matching set. I never have been. I don't like them for me. It's not my journey.
Yeah.
We can have different journeys.
Yes, but that's the sum total of my experience from like December until now. And like TV in terms of like what I've been watching.
Tell us.
I have been watching a bunch of shit that I've already watched, like The Magicians new season just came out on Netflix. If you like that Harry Potter but adult, like a sexy Harry Potter type thing, you'd probably like The Magicians. Sabrina, the third part of Sabrina the Teenage Witch is on Netflix. It just came out. I'm avoiding Bridgerton like the plague.
Me too.
I don't have time to be sucked into something and like be all obsessed. We just went through that with what we watched in prep for season 3.
I've been avoiding Bridgerton also because I know I'll get pulled in, and like I just am not ready for that story. I just don't want it because I've had other versions of it. Like what was the thing with Lily Collins? I know it's different, but
the Paris. She's in Paris. I don't know what it's called.
Emily in Paris.
Yeah, okay.
Watched it in like a day and a half, and I didn't plan on doing it. And that can happen because it was just very, very palatable. Very palatable. Very silly and very palatable. And I'm just like, I know that's what Bridgerton. I can't.
Yeah, I was like, Shonda, I see you, and I just cannot right now.
I know, like, don't do this. You can't do that and be making Grey's Anatomy. Like, you can't.
I'm just still surprised that Grey's Anatomy is still happening. I just can't believe it.
I feel like
it just keeps getting renewed
to end it.
Yes,
it's got to be the longest running next to The Bachelor and The Challenge.
Yeah, I swear.
Because those shows have been on for 20 years, easy. And Grey's Anatomy too, but like those 3 shows, and I do still watch The Bachelor, Bachelorette. I do still watch The Challenge. I can't believe I'm doing it, and I can't believe they're still being made. And I'm shocked that Grey's Anatomy, which requires way more than The Challenge or The Bachelorette, like in terms of production and development, like I cannot believe it is still going.
No, I don't have any words for that. I am just literally in shock. And I've already got my next thing like lined up of what I'm gonna like start next, and I was like, don't defer from the plan. Like I'm trying to read more and like watch less TV, but next up is Euphoria, because everyone just keeps telling me that I'm gonna like it, and I'm sure I am gonna like it. I just don't have the emotional bandwidth
it pops up in my brain all the time. I'm like, it's glossy, there's young people, and there's drugs. Like, I love it. That is for me. It speaks to me. That is my journey. But I just can't. So I've watched a couple of episodes. I know that it'll pull me in, and same as you. I can't right now.
Yeah. I gotta stay in my like really happy place. Like I just keep rewatching comedies and stuff that I love and like don't have to think about, and I've been really enjoying that. And like Euphoria, even though I know it's like so well acted, I feel like it's going to be in the same vein as I May Destroy You, where it's just like I can't passively watch this. Like you're going to engage all of my emotions, and I don't have a lot to spare right now.
I don't have them.
Trying to like, keep my what is the happy chemical in your brain? Dopamine. Trying to keep the dopamine high, from all this working out. My vitamin D is low. So let's just stay here for a little while longer.
But I am so curious. That you smoke like a ton of weed and like get dark with and just get into the rabbit hole, and it's just not a space for me right now.
Right? I was like, I need the sun to be out or something. Give me one of the things, and then we can deep dive into euphoria. But with
and
none
then you'll
of them,
feel depressed.
The
rest of the day, and but it'll be worth it. But like, it's not. It's not my space. I like your journey. I like your update. I know I've said journey a lot. It's been a journey.
Yeah.
It's in my head.
So tell us about what's going on with you. How have you been since the holidays?
Oh, right. So I don't remember when our last episode was released. I guess December.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Well, end of December, I started to not feel well. And then I got tested for COVID and I was positive. So that has been my life for the past like month to 6 weeks. And it's real. So for all you deniers out there, it is definitely
you're denying experience. It at this point. Come on.
It's a real experience, and it definitely takes you down. Like you can take a hit from it. It's not the same from everyone or for everyone, but Zach and I both tested positive, and it was as if we were both battling different illnesses.
Oh, wow.
We had totally different symptoms.
Wow.
The only thing we shared was fatigue.
Wow. What were some of your symptoms and versus his?
Oh my God.
People should be looking out for these things, because maybe it just presents, obviously it presents differently in different people, but like, things to be looking out for.
I mean, they run the gamut. That's the thing, is you can easily write it off as something else. In the beginning, I had a really big headache and fatigue, but that happens to me every once in a while. Sometimes my allergies present that way, especially in the winter if I'm indoors a lot, or like a sinus infection. So I didn't think much of it then, and a little achiness, but like I go to a chiropractor because we're sitting all the time, so it was achiness that I wasn't familiar with, but I was like, well, and a headache that won't quit, like nothing will take care of. Excedrin, I was doing Advil and Tylenol, and I would maybe have like an hour and a half relief. So a headache that just like will not go away, and it felt like a tension headache or a sinus headache. Like my teeth would hurt, because that'll happen with a sinus headache sometimes, and like a lot of pressure everywhere, like you're wearing a helmet. So the fatigue and headache are what lasted the longest, and just started going away about a week and a half ago.
Whoa, that's a long duration. Like, because you're thinking like, it's like 2 weeks of like a really bad thing, and then you come immediately out of it. But yeah, like 4 to 6 weeks is a long time to not be feeling like at your, even like good, not even at your best, but like feeling good, especially a tension headache.
Oh, it's terrible. And that's the recovery time, is like once I tested negative. So I was negative I was positive on the 30th. I was negative on the 15th. And like recovering from it, you may still have symptoms. And so the fatigue, like just getting through the day, like a regular day, was exhausting. And then I would have nothing left. And at one point I lost my sense of smell. That was weird. And it wasn't for everything. I could smell some things and not others, which was kind of fascinating. Yeah. And I noticed it first because I have this really strong, pungent, like lavender lotion. I'll say potent lavender lotion, which I love. And all I could smell was the fact that it was lotion. If you know what I mean, like just a smell of lotion, yet I couldn't smell the lavender. But I was congested. So I thought maybe, I was congested. But then that that kept going. And I was eating Thai food. I was eating pho with Zach, and I was like, this is terrible. I'm like, it is so bland. I don't taste it. And he's like, this is after we both tested positive. He's like, I think you got a case of COVID, nose girl.
Oh.
Yeah, the fatigue, the headaches. I started getting insomnia a couple of weeks ago. I think I'm still battling with that. I can sleep, but I need to like up my meds to be able to sleep, which is a bummer because they take my edge. When I take them, I lose my edge. I'm less sharp, and they're just meds I have to take anyways. They're not sleeping meds, but in order for me to sleep at night, I need to up my dosage during the day. Because that is what helps me be able to sleep at night, believe it or not. And yeah, I lose my edge mentally. And so that's annoying, like to work with that and stuff.
Yeah.
Frankly, it's a real fucking bummer. And Zach and I both had it at the same time. And I knew there was a point where I wanted to toss him out the window, and I am sure that there was a point that he wanted to toss me out the window because you're already together, but not feeling well.
Yeah.
And like, we just like we're different when we're not feeling well. Like he wants to be together. I want to be alone. Right.
I want to be alone to die. Just let me like wallow in bed by myself.
I want to be alone.
Taking on and off covers.
Exactly. Yes. Off my leg, on my leg.
On my
leg. I don't want to be touched. Because the way that I, get my energy or the way that I gain balance is alone time. Like I don't re-energize with people. I re-energize alone. And so like the fact that we, and he re-energized, it's just like, ah! So thank God we have Sawyer. Because Sawyer was the middleman. He could be there for Zach. And then he could also be there for me because he doesn't require touching.
Yeah. Oh, sweet.
So Sawyer really helped us, but I gotta tell you, it's a bummer. So my whole vacation, I took vacation end of December. That was when I was the most sick. And it's depressing too. So there's that piece where not feeling that well for that long definitely can fuck with your mental health because you're not I couldn't exercise. If I tried, we got an echelon bike. If I tried, I actually felt worse.
Oh, I can imagine the toll on your lungs from heavy breathing would be.
I would get
next to
exhausted.
Horrendous. Yeah.
And then I'd get a headache after exercising. I was just like, what do you want me to do, COVID? But mine was moderate, believe it or not. Zach had flu. So those are my symptoms. Zach had flu. It was like the flu. He had a fever. He would get the chills. He had mad fatigue that was worse than mine. We both, I think, were congested. And then he also had GI stuff. I never had a fever. I never had the chills. And so I didn't have GI stuff. So it was just this very bizarre, like, what do you have and what do I have? And then, there's such a thing as long COVID. So I think mine lasted longer than his, but I didn't get as bad as he did. But my symptoms were still going up until like a week and a half ago. And I'm just starting to feel like myself.
Yeah.
But it was weird.
That is so scary, but it's also like good to hear like, how it was for you guys and like, symptoms like, because like some things I'm like, oh, I didn't really realize that like maybe a prolonged headache could be a symptom of if not COVID, it could just be the flu or just a headache. But just things they'll be looking out for in these times because symptoms change. Now there's new, even more contagious COVID. So who knows what's going on with that and what that actually means.
I know. I like to think that I'm like Superwoman now. Like I'm Matt Damon in Contagion, at least for the next 3 months. So like, bring it on.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is I'm less afraid of the disease and the fatality of it. Not to say that like I couldn't get hit with a strain and it'd be totally different, but having experienced it, it does shave the edge off of that fear of the illness. But now I just don't want to get it again because it was such a bummer and because I'm just now feeling better. So I'm in the point right now where I'm like sanitizing more often than I was before I got sick.
Yeah.
And that'll go away eventually. I mean, I'm smart and, you know, I wash my hands and I do all the things that they tell us to do, but I have that little thing in the back of my head that's like, oh my God, you do not want another month of that. You do not.
Especially because I think I don't have like a frame of reference for it because I'm just thinking of like even my worst flus were like maybe like a week and a half, but a month long endeavor with these type of symptoms, these like, you know, flu-like or at least even in moderate form symptoms just seems absolutely terrible. And I'm so sorry you had to go through that because that's horrible.
Yeah. It was, it's a bummer. It's like mono. It's like the length of mono. And it felt like mono, like there were pieces of it. It's basically the symptoms of all like the greatest hits. The flu, sinus infection, mono, like any chronic fatigue syndrome, which really made me like think about people who may suffer from that because like that is a bummer.
That is my whole life. Chronic fatigue is my whole life. One of the books I read over this break is just called Sleep or the Science of Sleep. And it's like a scientist's research into sleep, why it's important, different types of sleep, how to get better sleep, and all of that kind of stuff. It was an amazing book. I think it's like freaking changed my life. Like,
oh, nice.
Sleep has never been it's a problem, but it's not a priority in terms of like things that are wrong in my life. Like not getting a lot of sleep is just like my life story. I like in college it was like 4 to 5 hours sleep.
It's everyone's life story. I mean, there's insomnia and like yours, but I think it's pretty typical. Typical American probably gets like 6 hours, which is not enough.
It's not. And then like it's so important. Like reading the book and just having like it explained scientifically made it have a little bit more weight because like it seems anecdotal that people are like you should sleep more and I was like thanks internet doctor.
That's how
like,
you
I don't
consolidate
know you.
all of the information you took in that day. Like that's how it sits in your memory. That's the only way you can go back and retrieve it. So like when I would pull all-nighters, like they did more for me mentally, thinking I was prepped more, but I don't think they actually helped me
not at all
get better grades.
No. And like in the book there's like the research to support that and I was like I've A, never heard that before, and then B, I'm really disappointed that this research was done like 20 and 30 and even 50 years ago and I've never heard it ever until now after college. So someone has been hiding information from me.
They are.
And why isn't this more readily available?
I think it's out there.
Well, I feel like why aren't we like telling this to like college students that like you're all-nighter, although you feel like you've done more work, it's not. You may as well go to sleep and wake up and study in the morning or take a nap in between or and like high school students, it was like this big section about like how high school students start school too early, like their biological clocks like are not started and they're more impulsive, they make bad decisions based on the time that school starts, and they've known this for like 50-60 years and they're just not changing it.
Well, I mean, but that I think it's because it's I think America in particular making sure that that stuff is heard or that like that knowledge is spread and available goes against our like hyper competitive productive society. So like I think that it just I think everyone knows, but they don't, you know, it's like, well, that's just not the way you do it. I mean, even in terms of productivity for work, there's been studies that show that you only get about 3 productive hours per day from an adult working at a job. So like there is no reason for that 8-hour day, let alone a longer day. It would be better to cut the workday shorter and then you would be able to get even more productivity from them.
Yeah.
Like, it's just insane to think about that kind of stuff, but like, it's true. And I started to recognize how important sleep was when my insomnia kicked in. So if I, went to bed at 9, hoping to fall asleep by 10, but let's say I didn't fall asleep till midnight, I would change my alarm and be like, fine, then I'll get up at 8:30 and I'll start work at 9. That's not ideal because mornings aren't good for me, and I'm really foggy and I need some time in between like waking up and working, but I'm like, I don't care. Like, then whatever I was going to do in the morning goes away. Like, let's just make and okay, so
make the sacrifice somewhere else. I get that. No, I'm the same way. I'm like, I need at least, like, on a great day, 2 hours before I start work. And usually in that time, I'm like, I've been to the gym, I've done something for myself, and then I can start work, and I'm like very much awake. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, we're not going to really work. I'm going to clock in at 9 because that's when I'm supposed to be here. But I'm like, the work will begin at 10. Like, I'm going to get that hour somewhere. Like,
you have to shave it somewhere. You won't be as productive in the morning. You won't be as on for that morning call. And I used to sacrifice that in order to have those 2 hours early so that I would feel like I was more productive for work. And then I was like, no, if I am losing my sleep like this, like, something has to go, and it's going to go in self-care will not occur in the morning, and I will be foggy when beginning, because like there is just no other choice for me right now. Like, it won't get better if I do it the other way. And that's hard because like those 2 hours are really fundamental for me to like feel like I put a very good day in.
Yeah. Well, it's for me, it's just like that I put time into myself, because I will like start my day at 9 and just like not stop. And throughout this whole time, I just feel like I'm like doing for others, I mean, going to work is for self, but it's also for others. Or it's not benefiting me in like a self-care way.
The worst feeling is going to work and then going to sleep and having nothing in between. That's depressing to me. And that's why I do it too.
Crazy. That is crazy. Or like, and then like somewhere in there, I'm just watching TV and I was like, well, that to me like even feels worse. So I even just like switched some of my TV time out for reading, because I feel like I've done, like when you say I've read a book, it feels better than saying I watched just 3 hours of Pretty Little Liars.
I'll watch TV in the morning. I admit it. I used to not, but now since I like to go to bed earlier, and I am still like a Netflix TV addict. Oh yeah, man. I will like get right in there in the AM with my coffee and watch like 45 minutes to an hour of something.
I love that.
Like, it happened. And if it doesn't happen at night, then I'm not going to feel bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love that. I'm usually like a YouTube in the morning. I'm just like checking up. Like, I like to watch people work out in the morning because it's motivating for me to also leave my house. Because I'll like get up and get fully dressed, and then I'll like sit with my coffee and I'll be like, should I go? I mean, I am dressed, and I just do that negotiation with myself. I'm like,
the mental gymnastics. If it doesn't happen in the morning, and my self-care, a lot of times if I don't do it in the morning, whether it be journaling or like getting on the bike or yoga, many times it won't happen at night. So like that's the thing too, is I know that I'm more likely to do that stuff. It's harder to do it in the morning in one way, because to get yourself moving, but then it's hard to get yourself to stop when you have momentum for the day with other things.
Yeah. Same.
Right? Like it's really like this whole like puzzle, and I know what works best for me, but like there are times where I am able to do the self-care in the afternoon or the evening, but fuck, is it like hard to get myself to do that? Okay, guys, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us in this conversation.
Yes.
But what are we going to be? So we have a guest who is going to be coming on to our next episode, and we just wanted to prime you all for what we're going to be discussing in this first episode.
Get your lives together. I know we just said, and I just specifically said that like you shouldn't spend this much time watching TV. But if you were going to, ignore me, ignore past Tessa. She knows nothing. Listen
do
to current
as
Tessa.
do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly. And just like, get your laptop out, head on over to Amazon Prime, type in Pretty Little Liars. Oh, I know you may have watched the series when it came out originally, but you forgot. I'm telling you that you forgot. And you need to start over. Just go ahead and come back to season 1 and then join us next week to talk about this amazing show. I feel like everything about me says that she would lead you to believe that I would not like this show, but I love this show.
Guys, this show is crack. And I do not freeform. Like I thought couldn't, right. When I first watched it in my late 20s, someone told me to, I was like, oh, right. Like a freeform WB-ish show. Like the last one of those I ever watched was like Dawson's or Buffy. Like I get they're good, but like I like a little grittier. And realistic. And I mean, it doesn't matter. It's quicksand. It is so formulaic, yet makes zero sense. It's so addictive.
Doesn't make much sense. It leaves a lot out.
It makes zero sense, yet the development, the episodic structure is so formulaic. It is truly lulling me. Like the look, the camera filter, the way they end, because the show was created and released when there were like on Freeform, so they're commercials. So you still have like the structure as if they're commercials, right? And it's just, it is mind numbing.
Yeah. It's like when you go to the movies and you order a popcorn and then like halfway through the movie, you're like, I just ate an entire bag of popcorn. What just happened? That's how I feel when I started watching Pretty Little Liars again. I started episode 1 and then all of a sudden I'm like, why am I in episode 5? What just happened in my life? It's like I blacked out and I was just enveloped into this universe that made very little sense.
It brought me in, and then even their recaps don't always like, I sometimes think I'm crazy, but a lot of times like the recaps include things that weren't even shown.
Yeah.
In the episode. Is that just me?
I was going crazy. No, because I was like, I wasn't paying 100% attention, but I watched that this much.
I watched it beginning to end, and it's not the only show that does that, but I have seen that in shows, and that is what I think their way of filling in the gaps is with certain things and to push the plot along. But I don't like that it is gaslighting me a tiny bit into thinking that I saw that interaction or that scene, because it wasn't there.
No.
Thank God, because like that has happened to me before in my life, and it's like one of those things that I just like never said aloud because I was like, I must have missed it. But shows
I was like,
that.
no, these scenes were cut and you just added them back for context. Yeah, I don't know.
And I'm like, what?
No, what? When?
Insane. And it's like a large plot, like it's a large part of the plot. So they add a key scene in the recap to introduce you to the context of the next episode. But it's like something that moves the plot in an entirely different direction. And you're like, oh, how did you do this? What are you doing? Marlene!
I'm excited to be entering a universe that's not like the DC Marvel superhero universe. This is a whole different type of universe for me, but I do feel completely enveloped by it. And not just Pretty Little Liars. I like the spinoffs too. I'm just very here for it. I know it does for some reason just go against everything I'm about because it is so problematic at times. But, partially nostalgia, partially like it is a well-told story. Even if I don't love what's happening all the time. But yeah. We'll get into it when we get there.
We'll get into it, guys. We are entering the universe. We are going to be covering season 1. in our next episode. So this was our little recap. Come back to us. How are we? How are you? You know, reach out to us on Instagram. Let us know what you've been up to since the end of season 2, how your holidays were. And then next week, we are going to have a friend of mine, Leslie Robinson, and she is going to come on to discuss Pretty Little Liars season 1. And after that, we're going to do The Perfectionist. So we're entering the universe, and we'd like you to join us. All right. So we are at Instagram at Strong Female Pod, and the Twitter account is there.
Yeah, we're SFL_Chicago on Twitter. Tweet at us, tweet your recommendations. We've got a lot of recommendations for some other coming of age things to do later on in season 3. This year is going to be a little different. We got a lot in store for you guys, a lot more guests, a lot more interesting avenues to run down. So we're excited to be back for season 3. Excited for you guys to hear it, to experience it, to interact with us.
We see you, we hear you, and we acknowledge you. And, maybe we'll invite one of you to come on and co-host with us. I mean, who the hell knows, right?
Bring it on. I'd be so excited to have a listener come on and
wouldn't it be? Yeah, I just thought of that. It would be great, and it can be done.
It can be done. Power of technology.
Power of technology. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening, and until next time, we love you. Bye.
Bye.